Formula One could be set to expand its grid for the first time in almost a decade after the first week of January threw up a couple of announcements that might have a big impact on its future. After FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem tweeted that he wanted to start the process to gain expressions of interest from potential new teams, Andretti followed this up by announcing a new partnership with American automotive giant General Motors for a future Formula One project. It's been a big news story, and it could see us get more cars, more drivers, and more action in F1. But how will Andretti make its F1 dreams a reality, and who will make the final decision? Until now, the door to join the grid has always been closed. No matter how interested a team might have been in entering F1, so long as the FIA has not triggered the formal process for expansion, there isn't a way to make that happen. That didn't stop Andretti from pushing along with F1 plans last year. Michael Andretti attended a number of races to rustle up support from the F1 paddock, but was surprised when many teams were lukewarm about the idea. In fact, only McLaren and Alpine have publicly stated their support for letting Andretti join the F1 grid as an 11th team. The main concern was money, as is so often the case in F1. Right now, teams gain revenue through prize money and payments given to them by F1, meaning the total is split between 10 teams. If you were to add an 11th team to that, it would mean everyone, in theory, would receive 10% less. It could amount to millions of dollars, which is something many of the teams are unwilling to give up easily. They want proof that adding Andretti would increase the total revenue enough to make up for the 10% hit they would each take. A dilution fund was written into the Concord Agreement in 2020, requiring any new team to pay $200 million to make up for this. Most believe that this bar was set far too low, and that a sum closer to $600 million might be more appropriate. The feeling within the paddock was that unless it was a really big name, like a major manufacturer, then adding a new team may not be the best idea when there are 10 stable, successful operations already racing. F1 already has an American team in Haas, so what would Andretti bring to the table? This is where General Motors comes in. The group is the second largest automaker in the world and the biggest in the United States, with brands such as Chevrolet and Cadillac under its umbrella. Both have an involvement in racing, but it's Cadillac that would be used for the F1 entry to form Andretti Cadillac Racing. GM has been clear it would offer all its technical support to the F1 project. Although it would look to collaborate with another manufacturer to begin with for a power unit supply, the hints were there that this could change down the line. This partnership, they claim, will go far beyond some Cadillac stickers on the Andretti F1 car. But there is still a big challenge that Andretti must overcome if it wants to get on the grid, convincing Formula One and the existing 10 teams. It seems F1 and the current teams are still unconvinced that GM's involvement would be akin to that of a proper manufacturer. Looking at Audi's plan to link up with Sauber in 2026, there is a clear commitment for investment and an engine supply. The feeling of the current teams on the grid is that Andretti may just get engines from Renault and simply rebadge them as Cadillac, basically making it a sponsorship deal. There are even whispers of wanting to change the rules and clamp down on what power units can be rebadged as in the future. Andretti's public approach is also thought to have annoyed some parties within F1. In Miami last year, Michael Andretti went around the paddock trying to get signatures from teams in support of his entry plan, which didn't go down well. There is also a feeling that Andretti is trying to push through the plans riding on the support of the FIA president, which in itself poses an interesting political dynamic. Because although the FIA oversees the process to add new teams to the grid, it cannot do so without the approval of F1 and the current teams. F1 reacted to the Andretti Cadillac announcement with a short statement serving a reminder of this, as well as suggesting there were talks ongoing with a number of less visible parties about joining the grid. F1's official website also did not carry any mention of the Andretti news when it was announced. Clearly, there isn't the same kind of excitement there as there is from the FIA about expanding the grid. So even with GM as part of its plan, Andretti still faces an uphill struggle to get everyone on board with its new F1 entry. At a time when there are 10 healthy teams, the fear is that it could upset the apple cart and not bring the benefits most want to come with expanding the grid. Watch for this as one of the biggest stories in F1 this year.